Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Talk Cocky with me. So we all have a story about the first time at Willy B. Mine, I remember my dad taking me and my sister. We walked all the way to the very top row of the west stands, right beside the press box. I remember I looked over the side. I was like, "Oh, we're really high up." And then my dad goes, "Oh, this is our seats." I was like, "Fantastic." Turned around to watch Steve Taneyhill with his ponytail and Brandon Bennett beat the crap out of Vanderbilt. That was the only games we ever went to was Vanderbilt because those were the ones we were for sure going to win. And my dad was not the kind to spend money to go down there and lose. And, you know, that's living up with a hard head in the South in the 80s. But we're all old now. Those memories are still there, but they're growing further and further away. Most of our memories are going to have Bojangles across the street, the farmer's market behind that weird little square road sign that said Williams-Brice Stadium that was like barely 15 feet tall. People would hit their head on as they were trying to leave. And you know you're old school if you remember playing Frogger trying to leave the stadium and all the rich people that parked around the stadium were trying to run you over as they were leaving, and all the drunk people were getting ticked off because they were almost getting run over.
That brings back so many memories.
When I was putting some stuff up, I was like, "Oh, the cars around the stadium, I hated them."
I'll never forget my dad trying to leave one time, and this was in the beginning of cell phones, and he called his friend, and he just said, "I'm in a sea of humanity."
Oh yeah, it was. Luckily, somebody has learned how to funnel people out of Williams-Brice Stadium, and whoever's idea it was to get the cars out from around the stadium, you're a genius.
Oh yeah.
The thing is all of those are our memories. You know, if you're over the age of like 12, you've never got to experience life-threatening injuries leaving a game at Williams-Brice Stadium until you cross the road, and then that's another story altogether too. But so there's a new generation of Gamecocks, I'll call them the post-Spurrier era, that never got to see Williams-Brice Stadium covered in 4 decades of bird crap running down the lights, or, you know, got to drink a drink with the worst tasting ice in the history of the world. You know, the people that come in, the stadium's got a little paint. We now got fancy lights, fancy sound system. Ice actually tastes like clean water for a change. You know, you've got this younger generation that's coming up. They've got grass in the fairgrounds, power hooked up here, generators running fans at your. Wait, that's just my tailgate because I'm old and I don't like being hot. But so a couple weeks ago, Tyler, he jumped on our podcast. Was that the Georgia State preview?
No, it was the preseason.
Yep.
That was the preseason podcast. Yeah.
So we were talking before the show, and or maybe it was after the show, and he had made a comment that he was wanting to take his daughters down for their first game this year. And every now and then I get like a really cool idea, and I was like, "Oh," and said, "Well, if it's going to be their first game, well, I actually, look, I skipped a little part here."
Okay.
So we were sitting there talking, and after the podcast, he said how his daughters thought that he was all famous now because he was on the podcast. And let's be honest, once you get on my podcast, like, it is a massive career booster.
100%.
I mean, when people say, "Hey, I was on Talk Cocky with me," like, that is a resume enhancer. Put that at the top. "Hi, my name is this. I've been a guest speaker on Talk Cocky with me." And they're like, CEO of Starlink. Of Tesla. You've got the job. Sorry, Elon Musk, but you haven't been on Talk Cocky with me.
That's right. They put you right into the zeitgeist. That's how you end up right in the zeitgeist.
Yeah. Premier League here.
Yeah.
So he was talking about how, you know, the girls were all excited for him and everything. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, you know, we're going to take them down to their first game this year." And I went, "Well, how about just instead of you being on the podcast, we have a real first-timer to Williams-Brice Stadium join the podcast. They can be famous themselves. This will set their entire life on a great path. They will get into Harvard. They will get honor roll for the rest of their life. I don't know, maybe straight A's too. Who knows?
We'll see. We'll see.
So we got Tyler back, obviously, and I believe he's got both of his little girls with him, Emma Flynn and Margo. So girls, y'all say hey to all, I think we have 7 people that listen now. It's not 3 anymore. We have upgraded to 7 full listeners. So y'all can say hey to everybody.
Say hey, Go.
Hi.
Margo.
Hi.
So Margo here is my youngest. She didn't actually make it to the game with us, but she is probably the most diehard Gamecock fan of all of us. My wife, who went to the school that shall not be named, which is what Margo calls it. She refuses to say that word.
Well, that's good because that's a cuss word, and we don't use that language at a young age.
That's right. But Emma Flynn and I went to the game. She actually might boost your podcast because she is cheer famous.
Boom!
So
I love having famous people on my episodes.
You've got a true cheer celebrity with you on the podcast. So we went down. I took her down. We went to the Horseshoe, walked around there, took her to the bookstore.
Well, hold on. You haven't let her say hey. I think Margo stole the spotlight a second ago.
You're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi.
How are you?
Okay.
Good. All right.
So what did you think about the Horseshoe in Columbia?
It was really cool.
It was. She really liked it. Took her to Zesto's to get some chicken.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
So, which we'll start a fight on Twitter because the Zesto's Russia's war on Twitter is.
Well, I was about to say, did you just say that their chicken was amazing?
It was.
Good.
It's better than Russia's.
Oh, okay. She's not on Twitter, so people on Twitter, please don't at me.
Oh, Adam.
That's my daughter's. That is my daughter's opinion.
At Notorious JTB.
That's correct.
Okay.
That is it.
Yes. So y'all at him and at Gamecock Eats, and we starting a new Zestos or Rush war.
Well, my tweet with the most engagement is a picture of a Russ's cheeseburger.
Isn't it so funny how just a random post people just take off with?
Yeah, it had like 800 clicks. I was like, who are these people?
Well, and that was the thing with my comment to Savelle Newton, which I guess went crazy the other day. Like, as soon as I went over 1,000 followers, it's weird the engagement now. Like at $9.99, I would get 3 likes and maybe a comment.
Yeah.
And then on that one, I was just like, why don't we have a former guy not like just 100% trash of the team? Yeah. Oh my God. Like, who are you people?
I know, right? I know. It's like I had a whole Zesto's Rush's war going on my Twitter feed. I was like, I had to turn off the notifications. I was like, you people are spamming my phone.
I have a life.
That's right. So she wanted to go down because she wanted to see the lights.
Mm-hmm.
Went and saw the Gamecock walk. Why don't you tell them about your first experience? What did you?
Well, yeah, I was about to say let's let Miss Emma Flynn give us her. Well, hold on. First, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
How jealous are your friends going to be that you're on a podcast and they're not?
I don't know.
Very
You
jealous.
don't know. You got to rib them. As soon as this comes out, you got to go, I've been on a podcast. You haven't. No, I'm just kidding. Don't be that friend. Don't be that person. But now that we did say that, do you have anybody you want to say hey to? Do you have any of your cheer friends or anybody you want to say hey to?
No, not really. I see
That's fine because there's a 99% chance they're not going to hear it anyway. I mean, you could have said hey to them, but they're not going to listen to me anyway. So yeah, it's all good.
None of them even cheer for Carolina.
Not yet.
She has her friendship choices. We're working on that. So,
okay, so you went to the Gamecock walk. How was that?
It was really cool.
Did you get to shake anybody's hand?
No.
We were too far back, so I had to hold her up the whole time.
Yeah, it gets packed pretty good, pretty quickly.
Well, we were gonna be in the front, but then we couldn't because we had to go somewhere else.
Yes, we went to my cousin's tailgate for a minute. So,
So how was the tailgate? Did you have fun at the tailgate?
Yeah, but he got lost going there.
Yeah, we.
Yeah.
I do have that from time to time.
Look, this is what I will say. It was 11 years to the day since I had been to Williams-Brice Stadium, and I know that because my anniversary is tomorrow. Happy anniversary to my beautiful wife, Laura.
Ooh, that's how you get points right there.
Right? But the last game I ever went to was the week before we played Navy. So it was 11 years to the day since I had been down there, and it is not the same.
No, it's changed, yeah.
So, I mean, I was like,
that's actually the entire whole intro of my freaking podcast was how much has changed in the last, probably about the last 11 years, honestly.
Yeah, it was insane. But so tell them who do we see at the Gamecock Walk?
We saw Shane Beamer. We saw Spencer.
We saw Spencer, yeah.
We saw like cheerleaders.
Yeah, she was very, very intrigued by the cheerleaders.
Because I know some of them.
She actually does know some of them.
Now, did you actually watch any of the game, or did you watch the cheerleaders the whole time?
I watched some of the game because the cheerleaders were on the whole other side of the field and I couldn't see them.
It's okay. That's what half the guys do too. So
I watched the dancers.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah, she did love the dancer. She loved the dance team with the new lights. That was her. Well, hold on. Tell him what your favorite part of the game was. There was one part that she loved.
You're literally stealing every question I had.
Sorry, man.
It's funny. You're doing it for. I'm like, okay, he just asked that question. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still in shock that guy jumped over a whole person.
Do you think your dad could do that?
No. No way.
All right, Margo. They're both answering.
No way.
Okay. I get it.
No way.
So you don't think your dad could like try to tackle somebody and they would just jump over him and make him look silly? You don't think your dad could stand there and let somebody make him look silly?
He could stand there, but he can't jump over. Yeah.
There's the new challenge. Let's see if Marshawn Lloyd can hurdle you.
There you go. Yeah, at me, Marshawn. We'll set it up. I'm 5'11". We'll see if you can get over me.
He probably could with that leap that he did, because that was the thing, is it looked like the guy was about to go low, and then I don't think he went as low as Marshawn expected, and then the poor dude was sitting there going, "Wait, he was right here."
Yeah, I know. I was I was shocked by that, because I told her, I was like, that's not a thing you see every day. I was like, that was a special play.
So Emma Flynn, do you think that with him being able to jump that high, do you think he could do a really good toe touch?
Yeah, if he's flexible enough.
Well, now, did you know that he can actually do a standing backflip?
No.
So what? It was a spring game, wasn't it? It was a spring game when a bunch of them did the backflips after.
I believe it was. Yeah.
So we had a number of players after the spring game or after one of the games last year, whatever it was, who knows? I'm too old to remember details. A bunch of the players, and Marshawn was one of them, just stood there and did standing backflips.
Oh, I can do that.
Can your dad?
No.
Look, man, I have a rule. If my legs or my feet ever end up above my head, I'm in trouble.
Understand.
I'm in terrible trouble. I'm hurt.
So other than the jump and all that, how was the game?
It was cool. I had good popcorn.
Oh, I don't know that I've ever actually had their popcorn.
Stop.
What about the lights? Did you enjoy Sandstorm and all that?
Yeah, they were really, really cool.
Have you made your dad install a bunch of lights around your house and flick them on and off really, really fast for you?
Oh, no, but I will do that.
Thanks a lot for that, man.
You should.
I appreciate that.
Well, there's technology now. I think you can just like buy some strips of things and program it and they'll do it, so you don't literally have to sit there and flick them on and off like we used to have to.
Yeah.
See, girls, back in the day, we had to stand up and flick light switches to make them go on and off. We didn't get to turn them on and off with our phones.
Yeah, we also had phones with cords, which is a thing that both my kids are shocked by.
What's
that?
Phones with cords on them.
And you also had phones that you had to rotate the numbers.
Yeah. So yeah, they're just looking. Hey, stop it! All right. What else did you enjoy?
The cheerleaders, the dancers, the lights, the actual football, and the food. Yeah, I know it.
So other than the chicken, what was What other good, other than the chicken and the popcorn, what else do you eat?
Pizza.
Ooh.
And some Skittles and some Sour Patch Kids.
All right, your mom might hear this, so let's edit the candy part out.
I've already told her.
All right, well, never mind. She's already ratted me out, so it's all good.
Yeah. Well, if she hasn't come after you yet, then you're good.
That's fair. That's fair.
Which she was probably like, "Oh, I don't care. You can have all the sugar when you're with your dad by himself."
Yeah. She did pass out on the way home. So
I understand that. That's why I don't go to night games anymore, where I got to drive back. We get hotel rooms because otherwise I'll pass out on the way home.
Yeah, look, it's been a long time since I've done it, and I was like, I remember why I don't want to do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, Emma Flynn, when are y'all going to go to another game?
I'm coming to the next game.
Margo wants to come to the next game. I think we will try. I'm going to try to get him one more, hopefully an afternoon game, so we can take Margo, because it was too late for her to go because her bedtime is like 7:30. So
mine too.
No, it's 8:30.
Okay. So yeah. So
Well,
hopefully we'll get to go to one more.
Next year.
What about basketball? Are we basketball fans?
Yeah.
Follow the women's basketball any?
No, we've been to a men's one.
Yeah, we went to her first actual Carolina game was a basketball game. I took her to the Coastal game one year.
Well, funny enough, I have seen the men play in Madison Square Garden in New York. We've seen them play Greenville, Furman. Where have I seen them play? I've seen them play in like 5 different places. I've never been to a men's basketball game in Columbia.
Really? You never been to the Colonial Center?
So we actually went. We had planned a trip to New York in 2016, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, they're playing Seton Hall." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
Oh, in Madison Square Garden. I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
So I told my wife, who absolutely hates basketball with a passion, we went and saw Chicago or Aladdin. I can't remember which night it was. And then as soon as we left there, we went to Madison Square Garden to watch the game. We got there around halftime. I don't remember what it was. And we were playing one of the worst games ever, which was kind of typical.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, okay. My wife goes, do we have to stay? And I'm like, no, we can go somewhere and get a drink. That's fine.
Yeah. Well,
but I can say I saw them in there. However, I've been to like 5 women's games in Columbia.
Yeah, I want to take them to a women's game this year. But Margo was actually born the night we lost in the Final Four. We watched that. Me and Emma Flynn watched that in the hospital.
Well, me and my dad, we went to that one. So we went to New York. Oh, that was that same year. We went to New York in December. My wife wanted to go see a show in Washington, D.C., so I actually got her tickets for that for Christmas, and we just did a little weekend in D.C., and then we went to the Final Four. And when we were about to beat Florida, my dad called me. He's like, "Oh, you want to go?" And I looked at my wife. I said, and it ended up just being me and my dad. But she goes, "I don't have to go, do I?" I said, "No, it can just be me and Daddy. And, we can have father-son trip kind of deal."
Yeah.
It was okay. And she said something else. I looked at her. I said, "This is literally a once-in-a-lifetime chance."
Yeah.
I don't foresee us ever being in this situation again.
Yeah, right. I know. My wife said this. My wife was like, "You can go. There's no way she's going to be born that day." And I was like, "No, that's a trap." I was like, "I'm getting set up." I was like, "I'm going to stay." And sure enough, that was the night she was born.
Well, we got off the plane, went to the hotel, checked in, got an Uber, got to the stadium, got through security, and then had to sprint around the stadium, got to our seats as they threw the ball up.
Oh, wow. That's
then
awesome.
we lost and went to the Diamondbacks game.
Oh, that's cool.
The next day, I think we went to their home opener. We ended up, Earmuffs girls, we ended up going to Hooters for the women's championship game.
Nice.
And then we actually ended up leaving and coming back home. But yeah, so I said all that. I got 2 tickets to the women's basketball game. If y'all want to go any game, let me know. All we get's 2. So
that's
let
cool.
me know. Let me know. We'll
man.
get you hooked up with that. But yeah, I think that was kind of all. Unless Emma Flynn, if you've got anything to add, or Margo, if you want to add anything, y'all go right ahead.
Say go Gamecocks.
Go Gamecocks.
Y'all hit us with the demo.
Yeah, right.
So Tyler, let's talk about the last couple of games. We'll get to some football chat now.
All right, sounds good.
So if you look on Gamecock Twitter,
it's so awful.
Our play calling is still the worst play calling in all of football history. I'm not saying it's the greatest in football history, but it is definitely the worst according to Gamecock Twitter.
Yes. Yes.
Like we have stats and proven facts that it is the worst play calling in history.
Oh,
even since before the forward pass was invented, worst play calling ever.
Yes. Yes.
We also have the worst defense ever, according to a few. Is now the offense after last night has now like been propelled over our atrocious defense that just cannot stop anybody. Doesn't matter that we, only gave up 10 points, but cannot stop anybody according to Gamecock Twitter.
Not only that, but I even thought this. They gave up that one touchdown and then adjusted to the running quarterback very well, I thought. I mean, I had to get off Twitter by halftime because I was like, I can't deal with this. But I was like, this defense, they adjusted well, I felt like.
I mean, if we're going to be honest, we're still thin depth-wise on defense.
Very.
And then we had some very costly injuries already this year. Not just guys that are out the whole season, but we have guys that have gotten banged up. So they're not playing 100% either way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Nick E is having a tremendous freaking season. DQ Smith is having a great season.
Yeah.
But they're still freshmen. They've made a couple of mistakes. Emmanuel, God, I want to be able to say his name consistently.
I know, so do I, but I can't.
Emmanuel.
Yeah.
So he had the one play, was it Arkansas, where they got behind him and scored a touchdown? I mean, it was a second freaking game, but no. The defense is improving. We just have people that we're having to stick in that haven't had a lot of playing time, or they've had careers of being injuries, so they may be older but haven't had a lot of playing time. Sherrod Green came back, had that huge pick last night. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I tagged Mo Kaba and Jordan Strahan and was like, yo, dudes, this is what keeps y'all fighting. Green was in your exact shoes last season. Keep fighting, come back, make plays.
Yeah.
But I think we're still thin in the defensive backfield, corners, nickel, all that.
Mm.
We've got talent, no doubt. But I think we're thin with talent and experience to come depth-wise, to come in, make plays consistently over a whole game. But we have faced teams, Georgia, Arkansas, Georgia State, that run the ball 90% of the freaking time.
Yeah.
And then we have historically been terrible against running quarterbacks.
Yes.
So, I mean, these first 5 games have been nothing but our Achilles heel as a defense.
I mean,
and we've held our own. I mean, minus the Georgia game.
Look, Georgia's a whole nother thing. I mean,
they're NFL junior.
Exactly. The thing about Gamecock Twitter that blows my mind is, show me one Gamecock fan who thought we were going to be better than what we are right now. Like, legitimately thought we were going to go. I mean,
record-wise, realistically, we're where we thought we were. Although in my preseason thing I said we were going undefeated, because that's just, but I mean, that is literally how I am. I felt and I still feel like we have the talent to compete with everybody on our schedule. Felt that way before the season, still feel that way. It's once we get into the depth and later in the game, which ironically enough, it's early in the game when we struggle to stop people or score. So weird.
So frustrating.
But that's the other thing. I don't care who the coaching staff is. We can blame Satterfield or we can blame whoever the hell we want to. It doesn't matter who the coaching staff has been. We have not been a first half team, even under Spurrier.
No.
I mean, there were some years that we just throttled people.
Yeah.
But we just don't start games hot, no
No.
matter who is there. But for some reason, I mean, we all ate the hype up, with an extra side of fries this season, thinking we were going to come in and blow teams out. But I'm not mad at the defense. They're playing as I would expect with everything that we've been dealt with. And it's not making exceptions. It's being realistic.
Agreed.
Before last season, everybody said we didn't have any DBs that were worth snuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we brought in some guys. We're plugging in pieces here. We're recruiting out the yin yang for defensive backs. So we're going to get there. And right now, I mean, they're competing and holding their own.
Absolutely. I mean,
do you really want shutouts against Georgia? I mean, yes, but
let's be realistic. That, but I'm also realistic. Well, it's like I made the joke, I think, on Twitter at the beginning of the season because somebody was talking about, coming out on a hot start. I was like, but then I will never be able to say, well, you're not going to win them all by a shutout, because I think I've said that after every first drive of a Carolina game, because it's like, we'll beat them. They'll score 7, whatever. But the other thing is the Charlotte game. Okay, those first whatever drives. I mean, some of those pass interference calls were insane. I mean, I was like, okay,
oh yeah,
it was ridiculous, and not to blame the refs, but they were terrible. And then the second half, we came out and we had 3 straight picks, I believe, on 3 consecutive drives. And then last night they gave up 1 touchdown and a field goal. What else? I mean, that's not, and like I said, they adjusted. They switched quarterbacks on us, and they adjusted after he got that 1 touchdown. And after that, he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And they have a pretty good wide receiver who, didn't do a whole heck of a lot during that game.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, look, Georgia has all kinds of speed and all kinds of talent all over that field. So I kind of chucked that one out. The Arkansas game, they did the best they could for as long as they were on the field.
Yeah.
Well,
and it still kind of goes back talking about depth and across the field and everything to what I was saying a second ago. When you looked at Spurrier's team, our 2 and 3 deep could have went and started anywhere in the nation.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was in today's world with the college football playoffs, we're in the playoff multiple of those years, and then let the chips fall where they were. But for some unknown reason, we either couldn't beat Missouri or we couldn't beat Kentucky or we couldn't beat some whoever in the East.
I think Vandy one year beat us.
Each of those years we're finishing 4th in the nation, but dropping 1 to Vandy in Nashville in front of 5,000 people. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What? What are we doing?
Agreed.
But we just rotated guys in that were just hosses.
Yeah.
When he left, then, we'll throw a little blame on him. I'm not a Spurrier hater like we have a lot of fans are like, oh, he quit on us. He did what he knew he had to do. And if you say he shouldn't have left when he did, you're fooling yourself, because he was doing that to try to give, realistically, Sean Elliott the position here. I agree with the decision that he shouldn't have had it full time. I love him to death. I would love to have him back in Columbia at some point, whatever position. I'm not saying anything remotely close to head coach, but
I would just worry
Sean
about
Elliott as a coach.
I would just worry about his sweating in the Columbia heat, because during the Carolina Georgia State game, I was
Georgia
like, my
State
man
ain't no worse or better.
That's fair, but in that Columbia Georgia State game, I was like, is my man in a sauna? I was like, he was sweating to death out there.
But it's since Spurrier left, we just haven't had the consistent depth.
Agreed.
And, hate Muschamp, whatever you want to, but he brought in some really good talent. And the talent that he brought in has put us in a position to be competitive right now. But even he wasn't able to bring in guys to fill in the back end. And that's where we're struggling right now. But, I guess I'm kind of going in a circle here. It's just, do I want the defense to knock every ball down? Do I want them to play better? Yes. Do I think they're playing terrible? No. I think this year's defense versus last year's, and I think the major difference and part of what people are having issues right now is before the second half when things kind of got out of hand a little bit, we hardly had any turnovers. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we're not getting in a tough game where you're trying to live through the debacle of the first quarter against Arkansas or, the first couple of drives against Georgia. When you need something to just slow that down, they're not getting that one play. And to me, I think that's the difference between last year's defense of, I mean, you had Jalen Foster freaking leading the league in INTs, but I think that's the main difference between last year where you're going, oh, the defense is carrying this team. Marcus Satterfield, it's terrible, but the defense is so great. Well, they were getting turnovers. They were making fun of. I was making fun of Gamecock Twitter.
But the other thing is
they were making those plays to give the ball back to the offense, and whether the offense did anything with it or not, it's another story. But I see that as being a major shift with the defense this year. Is we're just not getting those plays, and that's really the only difference. They're not giving up a crap ton of yards, or again, minus Georgia.
Yeah.
Or
but if you recall too,
no turnovers.
If you recall too, last year there was the Tennessee game where they jumped out to a 28
to nothing in the first quarter.
In the first quarter, and then I think Missouri did that.
I'm not sour at all.
Yeah, right. Missouri did the same thing to us. It
wasn't quite as bad.
It wasn't quite as bad, but they had those games last year too. Mm-hmm. But you're right; they were getting some turnovers, so you kind of forgot about it because of like the end of the season, you know. But that was no different than the Arkansas and Georgia game.
Yeah, I mean, that Arkansas
you feel worse if you do that to Tennessee this year.
Yeah, that Arkansas game was one of the most. Like, I realized the game ended up just getting out of hand against Georgia, but the Arkansas game was one of the most demoralizing games I've ever seen in my life.
That was a tough one.
It just, we literally could not stop them.
No. But also, traditionally against Arkansas, that has been a problem because I don't know if you remember
we know Darren Fadden. Let's not talk about Darren Fadden.
Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis all went over like 100 yards in that game.
Well, again, Darren McFadden's actually, when you say what player of any other school do you wish would have came to Carolina, or did you pull for other schools? I mean, I think number one, who do I have wished would have came to South Carolina? If you don't start your list with Tim Tebow, you're an idiot. I mean,
True.
You don't have to say he's the greatest quarterback of all time, but he is the greatest winner of all time.
Yes,
and he is the greatest teammate and greatest leader of all. Like, shut up. Anybody that wants to argue, you are an idiot. Tim Tebow, I will take his college career at South Carolina and his leadership all day, every day.
Oh, 100%.
Number two for me is probably Darren McFadden. I just love the way he played. He's kind of an Archie Griffin of our time, I think. But one of my favorite and most depressing stats ever is his freshman year, so year one, he rushed for over 100 yards. Mm-hmm. Sophomore year two, he rushed for over 200 yards. Junior year three, he rushed for over 300 yards. And I was begging, please go to the pros. I can't watch a 400-yard game. It would be impressive. I would actually clap for you, but I really don't want to watch a 400-yard rushing game.
Agreed. Yeah. And so I was I'm a huge Cowboys fan, and I was really upset when they took Felix Jones over Darren McFadden. I was like,
what are you thinking?
I was like, why? I was like, and maybe it's just because I saw him run all over.
Jerry Jones probably just wanted a Jones guy on the field.
Probably. And I was like, wow.
Knowing Jerry Jones, how egotistical he is, that was literally probably why he picked him.
Probably. You're probably right. And that because
I'm a Cowboys fan too. And I say that with a grain of salt. I haven't watched an entire regular NFL season in well over 20 years. So, I mean, it's whatever to me.
Yeah. But so, here's the thing too. And, going back to Gamecock Twitter, I saw, this is the tweet that put me over the edge last night was, I don't remember what the play was, but somebody tweeted, "Way to go, coach. This is how you lose fans, it was like Beamer ball my butt. I'm done. I'm never watching again. All right, dude. Peace. See ya. If you don't I don't have time. If you don't want to be a fan, don't be a fan, man. We scored 50 points 2 weeks in a row on two schools we should score 50 points on.
And did you see the Colin Taylor stat on that?
I didn't see it.
I even told my wife, who, again, I repeat, could not care less.
Yeah.
But I still tell her things anyway, because that's what we do as husbands.
I do the same thing to my wife, and
we annoy the crap out of them. Yeah. So
she went to the other school in Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Colin Taylor posted, prepare yourself for this.
Okay.
The last 2 games is the first time South Carolina has scored 50 points or more in consecutive games since 1995. That's not the stat.
Okay.
Not a single player on our team was alive.
Oh, that makes me feel so. Oh, that's a dagger right through my heart, man.
What? But I told my wife that. I said, so, we hadn't scored 50 points in 2 consecutive games since 95. She goes, oh, God. I went, and not a single player was alive when that happened. She goes, okay. And she kind of looked confused. I went, not a single player was alive. She goes, ooh. Goes,
right.
I thought you were saying that not a player from that team was still alive. And I'm like, well, I hope the entire team hasn't died in like 20 years.
Right.
Good gosh.
Right.
But I said, no, none of the actual players alive now on this team was alive when that happened. She goes, I feel old. I'm like, yes,
right.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, right. I could drive in 1995.
I could not. I'm not quite that old.
I was 15. 16 in 1995. So yeah, that makes me feel super old.
I was 11. 95.
So I mean, look, the play calling on offense, the Georgia game.
I was literally just about to say, so let's get back to the offense. I'll go with it.
It's atrocious. That Georgia game, it was atrocious. The play calling, I didn't understand it, whatever. But the last 2 games, it hasn't been that bad. I mean, hell, everybody wanted a running game, so Marshawn Lloyd ran all over.
And then they complain.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, we didn't throw the ball. I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, so then last night we throw the ball. They're like, well, Marshawn Lloyd only ran for 80 yards. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I had to get off the internet. I was like, I'm done with this.
Well, and it was funny, too. Like, he even said it in that one press conference. He goes, there's going to be games where we throw it 400 times to Wells, and people are going to be like, oh, well, Josh Vann didn't get the ball. He goes, then you're going to be like, right. Oh, well, Josh Vann got 10 catches, but Wells didn't get. And I do get it. Like, we have a lot of talent on offense. Where I see issues with that is I think there's times he tries to get too cute. And I don't say that in a bad way if he's just trying to be flashy and he's trying to do this. I think he's still learning as a play caller of how to manage a game, how, when to call this, when to call that. I think there's times where he tries to set up certain plays too much and maybe at the wrong times, like the 3rd and 6 was at Georgia.
Where he put
we get the first down, then the very next series it's 3rd and 6, and we put DK in at quarterback. Literally everybody in the bar went run up the middle.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I can see where maybe you're running that to later in the game set up a DK pass. Well, yeah, that's just not the time for that play. 3rd and 6, not the time. Pick up that first down, do it on 1st and 10.
Right.
And what game was it? Was it? I don't remember if it was Saturday or last night, but I think it was Saturday. We drive straight down the field. Yeah, I think it was Saturday. First drive, go straight down the field. Inside the 10-yard line, it's 3rd down, if I'm not mistaken. We're on the right hash mark, and we have Spencer roll that way out with one wide receiver. And I'm like, you're rolling to the short side of the field that you're already on. You're going that way, so you're limiting your field to even scramble with only one route to dish it out to.
Yes.
And there's 4 guys there. So, and again, I think Beamer had actually made a comment about how when he did it in his post game, I think it was, or it might have been his Tuesday press conference. I don't know. The last 2 games, everything just completely blurs.
They were like 4 days apart.
Yeah.
You're like,
but Beamer talked about when he was here. I think when he was here the first time, there was when he was special teams coordinator, he called a play on like a field goal or something, and somebody tried to run a fake field goal. And he said, I actually called it thinking we were on the different hash mark. He said, I called it wrong. I had our guys pressing to the wrong side of the line. And luckily, they called a fake field goal to that side. He goes, if they would have done absolutely anything but the call that they did, we would have been royally screwed.
Yeah.
This is a complete paraphrase, mind you. And he said, but luckily they ran straight into my screw up. So I looked like a genius, but I really made a bad call. But and I think that on that call, same thing with the Zach Pickens throw last year. Yep. Oh, you got a D lineman throw it. If he connects it, it's the greatest call of all time. Like,
you're a genius.
That's what being offensive coordinator is. But I think we keep getting in situations where we get straight down the field, get inside the 10, and then we run some weird pass play.
Yeah.
Which makes you scratch your head. And then the other issue that I have with him is third down. It can be 3rd and 2. It can be 3rd and 4. It can be 3rd and 6. It can be 3rd and 8. It can be 3rd and 99. We're going to run it up the daggum middle. And I'm going, stop it.
I don't get, like, maybe if you're going to go for it on 4th down, I don't know. I'm like, what are you doing?
I mean, those are really my only gripes with that. And I get it. Those are a pretty good. When it's 3rd down and literally everybody that has watched college football for longer than one drive knows that it's 3rd down and we're going to run it up the gut.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big head scratcher and very frustrating as a fan to watch. But outside of that, I posted a couple of times last night and probably 70,000 times if you go through my Twitter, which if you've got time for that, you're a loser. But I do appreciate you as a loser fan.
Yeah. I have you on notifications. Every time you tweet, I get a notification.
I know that's a lie because you don't like any of my posts ever.
I've been off of it for a little bit because I got so upset with because the thing about Gamecock Twitter is when Carolina's not playing, like in the off season, greatest place ever, friendly, love everybody. Oh, yeah.
It's like politics. People hate each other. If you got a different opinion, I hate you.
Yeah. As soon as we start playing, all hell breaks loose.
I mean, you got people that literally argue when they post the helmets before games. Like,
everybody's like, I hate them. I was like, I thought they were different. It was cool. Yeah. I wish they'd have wore some retro jerseys with it.
Yeah. Well,
it was a cool thing to do for a Thursday night game.
Yeah, it just kind of played out. I think it was pretty fun too. But I mean, what I was saying though before I derailed myself was it's one part play calling, it's another part execution. And
agreed.
If you look at Alabama and you look at Georgia, every single person on this planet knows they're going to run it up the middle. They're going to run it to the right. They're going to run it to the left, and they're going to throw it every now and then.
Yeah.
But you can't stop it.
Right.
Like, they don't have magical screen passes and this deep post and this pick play, and we're going to call a screen here and do this. No, they run it straight at you, say, tackle me. And you can't do it.
No.
So it doesn't, to an extent, it doesn't matter what the plays are called. You've got to execute. At the same time, you got to have players that can execute the plays. I mean, we've had somebody, Gamecock Russ, he posted a stat the other day that we've already had more passes beyond, and I'm off of memory, because I don't plan anything for my podcast because I'm a terrible host like that. But that's how I prefer it. Oh, wife just got home. Rhett said hello. So all of our kids have actually spoken in this podcast now.
That's right. That's right.
But so he had posted something that this year already we have more pass completions beyond 15 or 20 yards than we've had in any season the last 5 years or so. But again, already to this point, we've scored 35 ?
33
in every game in 4 of 5 games.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you want from the offense? Is it pretty? No, but they're doing a better job than we've seen before. Like,
well, and this is the other thing too.
What do you want?
This is the other thing too about Satterfield. Like, he gets no credit for that North Carolina game in the Mayo Bowl, which was an incredibly game planned, well called game for not having a real quarterback.
Well, if you talk to fans, they would go, the game plan was just give it to Jaheim Bell. That wasn't that good. Like, I mean,
okay, we won, right? Here's the other thing too. If you fire an offensive coordinator 4 games into the season, you're basically throwing your season away. So when you don't bring in another offensive coordinator, teach a whole new system to a group of guys. Why? I mean, that makes no sense.
I mean, again, do I have some issues with certain calls? Absolutely.
Same here.
But I go back to the Arkansas game. As bad as that looked early on, it was the end of the third quarter, maybe start of the fourth. It's 21-16.
Yep.
And Spencer rolls left. AB releases behind both defensive backs. It's third down, I believe. Spencer's almost crossed the line of scrimmage. Doesn't quite get there.
Yeah.
And AB's wide open in the end zone.
Yeah.
Spencer releases, and it goes a little too far.
Yeah.
If he connects, we're leading in that game.
Agreed. Yeah. There was another one too in the first half.
Yep. Where AB has that deep post and he throws. I mean, that's one. He threw it a little too straight for the post, but the DB made a hell of a play too. I mean,
yeah.
It was kind of one of those catch 2020. Like it was, could have been thrown a hair better. Yeah. But
yeah,
DB still made a hell of a play. But, and that was the thing too. I posted last night. Spencer Rattler has been great. I'm not dogging him at all. Picks that he's had. Let's see. He came.
Well, those two
last night are not him.
Aren't his.
He had another one. Actually, I think it was look at it. Maybe no, it was AB. He had one that AB got 2 hands on.
Yeah,
went through. That was Georgia or Arkansas, one of those.
Yeah.
So a number of his picks are not true. He made a bad decision, bad throw, and they picked him. There's been a couple that were really
one in Arkansas. That one in Arkansas. That one was on him.
Yeah, in the end zone. But that was another ball game was all but over.
Yeah,
he's trying to do a little too much. Read that play a little late because it was there, and then he held it an extra second. But he hasn't had a bad season. But his deep balls have been off just enough.
I mean, that's the thing too, and that's the thing because everybody talked about how great he was throwing the deep ball, and now it's just like it's just you're like, yeah.
I mean, you got to think of how much pressure's on him. Like with all he's heard since last season is, he got benched for a freshman because he's trash and blah, blah. Like that is all he's heard for an entire year. He's gonna be a little bit of gun shy. He just has to hit that one. I think he's the guy that he needs to hit that one home run, and the second he does, here it goes. And
that's how it's like. Same with basketball. Like if you're a shooter, once you see one go in, the rest
you
of
go
them
like 0 for 10 behind the arc.
Yeah,
and then when that one hits, you're like,
yeah.
I think that's where he's at, and he's been just off enough, but. I do want to see us. I mean, the last couple of games, we've just been doing all these little wide receiver screens, which, I mean, we've got guys. Get them the ball out in the open to only have to beat 1 or 2 dudes and go with it. But
that was the other thing last night. It was working. So everybody's like, stop doing that. I'm like, but it works.
But the second we stop doing it, we're not moving the ball. Like, hell, you didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. I mean, when you're throwing it out there and getting 6 yards a clip, I mean, that's 2 plays and a first down.
Well, and two, I saw some people like, we've been doing all these little wide receiver screens the last couple of weeks, and when we get back in the SEC, that's not going to work. Who cares?
Right?
We're not playing the SEC.
Exactly. I saw that
the
same
teams
tweet.
were playing, beat those guys.
I saw that same tweet because it was a quote tweet on something Savell Newton said. And
I ain't saying none.
That person said the same thing. I saw the same tweet because I was like, but it's working. Who cares?
I ain't calling Newton out because we trying to bury the hatchet. Might have him on the episode next week. We got to talk it out.
Well, no, he wasn't the one that said that. Somebody quote tweeted him and said the SEC thing underneath it. I don't remember what his tweet was.
Okay.
Somebody quote tweeted it and put that about
gotcha.
that won't work in the SEC. And I was like, but we're not playing in the SEC this week.
Yeah, I think, again, beat a dead horse. You got to excuse me. That was a little burp. you gotta execute the plays that are called.
Yes.
And now, again, if it's 3rd and 10 and everybody in the entire place knows it's going to be a run and it's an ISO straight up the gut, I get it. That's a little bit harder to do. But
yes,
when the plays are there, like last night on the first pick, say whatever you want to, but Leggett either has to catch that or let it go to the ground.
Agreed.
I mean,
the one that you can't do is let it bounce up.
Yeah. And great play to their DBs. Last week, if the ball hit the ground on a catch, it was incomplete. This week, it's an interception. Whatever. I'm not here to talk rules.
Yeah.
But, great play on them for making the play, but you either got to catch it or don't catch it.
Right.
But the whole, I'm going to scoop it and throw it on top of my body and kick it 4 times. No, get the hell out of the way.
Agreed.
But
yeah.
On that one, Bell was coming over wide open. Now, again, he had Bell for a 15, 20-yarder, or he had AB for a home run. Not AB, Leggett for the home run. If he gets it in the air just a little. Yeah. And this is where I'm going back to, he's just been off just enough. If he gets that one in the air.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. I think too, like the reason why he's firing,
it's still a catchable ball. It's got to be.
Oh, it's still very catchable. And that second one just went through my man. It went through his hands. I was just like, "Oh, you got to catch that, homie." I was like,
I ain't comment on that.
But I think too, he's got guys open shorter, but he wants to hit that home run ball so he can, like I said, so he can see it go in, and then it's almost like he's forcing it, and that's just causing him to think about it.
Well, and I think he's too. Not just for himself, but I think he's trying to prove this is why I came here.
Agreed.
This is why you wanted me. This is why y'all were excited. There's just so much pressure. And I don't know if you heard that. My dog just came in here and he's going crazy.
I did hear that, yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah. My kids are running around in the hallway. I have dad of the year. I have no idea what's going on.
I just told him to calm down. He looked at me like, what? What am I doing? What's going on? But I think last night the game plan was to find him a couple of those shots to get him there. And it's just, he's just off, a little off.
Yeah. And he'll get it. Look, he'll figure, he's also first time. I mean, he's only played 3 games with these wide receivers, 4 games now.
Well, 5.
5. Okay.
But like 1 or 2, it's basically week 1.
Yeah.
Do you even watch football? Have you even paid any attention?
I do. But again, like you said, the games have all run together at this point. Today especially. But yeah, I just, and the thing is too, and I love the dude. Like he had posted a thing on his Instagram story today where he was talking to a bunch of kids and like the caption was the real people I do it for. And I was like, that's great, man. Like I love that about him. And he seems like he truly wants to win for this team. And I love that. Mm-hmm. But also, don't put so much pressure on yourself, Holmes. Just do your job, man. Sometimes I had a coach one time that told me, where you screw up is when you try to give that extra 110%. Give me 100. When you screw up, when you try to give that extra 10, because that's where it all goes wrong.
Well, we used to always have a saying, make the plays that are there. Make the routine plays.
Yeah.
Do what's in front of you. Then if you make a spectacular play, fantastic, but make the play that's there.
Yeah.
If the defense gives you something, take it.
Yeah.
If you hit the home run, cool.
Yeah.
But if he lobs you a softball down the middle, hit it.
hit it. Yeah.
You know,
And I will say this because we haven't talked about this and we've mentioned Marshawn Lloyd, but I think he's finally back to 5-star guy you thought he was going to be.
Well, and it's one of those, and I guess I have a little PTSD from Lattimore, but
yeah,
the face mask tackle last night, that has to be kicked out of football. You can't sit here and say that you're all about player safety. And again, hey, face mask, it happens. You know, horse collar and stuff. They're going boom, 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 boom. I'm not one to judge a play or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would never say somebody did it maliciously unless they said they did.
Yeah.
But you can't have a guy, a 200, 230, 240-pound guy, grab another guy running one direction by his head and literally pull him straight to the ground by his neck and head.
Yeah.
You cannot have that.
He was in the end zone. There was no point in doing it.
Yeah. Oh, well, and that's the thing. He knew he was beat. Yes. He had absolutely no way of making this play. He grabbed nothing but face mask. And again, it wasn't he turned him around or drove him out of bounds with it. He pulled it straight to the ground.
He did, yeah.
To me, that is the equivalence of going after a hit on a quarterback that's sliding.
Yeah.
Which I think they need to start, and they did it with the targeting or the personal fouls a few years ago, but I haven't heard it ever mentioned. When they first did the targeting, it was like, oh, it's the first personal foul. He gets one more, he's ejected.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a few years for anything, but I think that should be part of football as a whole. But do like basketball does, you get 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, 2 or 2 techs or 2 flagrants. Yeah.
But have it to where you can have an ejection foul straight up.
Oh, yeah.
Do I think that should be an immediate ejection? No, because he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, right.
I guess.
Right. Sometimes the outcome helps you make the decision, I guess. Yeah. But at the same time, you just try to get it out. I mean, it's already a dangerous game that they're playing.
I think, too, it's easy to look at a play in slow motion 17 times from every single angle known to man and say, oh, he did it wrong.
True.
Versus I'm sitting here, live ball game, and this just happened. Now, I'll go ahead and say, too, that little chop block or hit against a defensive player that they called against SC State on Brad Johnson when he was 5 yards behind quarterback, whatever. I think that's a trash call, and they need to get that out of football. Like,
I didn't understand that one. I mean, that was
you're trying to tell me Brad Johnson at freaking 240 pounds of solid stone was a defenseless player when the dude hit him like right on his shoulder?
Yeah. And it's like you said, the reason why they outlawed the horse collar tackle is because people were getting their ACLs and knees blown out. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you can't do that. Like,
so what's it going to cost? Is somebody going to have to break their neck? Or are we going to need somebody to literally break their neck by getting yanked straight down by and again, face mask happen.
They do. It is one thing.
That's why I used to have a 5 and a 15-yard penalty. But face mask happened. But on that play, for football purposes, I think that should be considered a flagrant 1. That was an egregious penalty, should have been. Yeah. And it should have been borderline 1 more year ejected.
Because the thing is, he knew he had him by the face mask.
It was over.
Yeah. And it's one thing if a guy runs by you and you stick your hand out and you trying to grab his jersey or something.
And you catch it.
You catch his face mask.
If it's at the 50-yard line, he's coming around the tackle, you're a blitzing linebacker, and you just reach out. Okay.
Yeah, fine. But to grab it like that and just rip him down, I mean, you knew what you were doing at that point. Yeah. So.
Well, I've got one more thing that I want to say for all 7. Again, we've upgraded to 7 people listen, not 3. My man Shane Beamer, he's got to get mad. He's got to learn how to get mad. The end of the Arkansas game, when quarterback is running towards the near pylon and fumbles it, and they review it. I'll admit I might be biased. But I'm also an official. I've been a basketball official for 23 years. So I do at the same time typically kind of like, come on, people, stop blaming everything on the refs. Make your damn shots or make your plays and stop blaming somebody else.
Agreed.
To me, if a runner's running to the end zone, reaches the ball out and it hits the pylon, they call that a touchdown. They say
Correct.
It crossed the line.
Yes.
He dropped the ball and it hit the pylon.
Yes.
So in reverse story, you consider that a touchdown because it crosses the line. So if he's dropped the ball and it does the same thing, that's touchback our ball.
Yes.
And when that happened, they showed Coach Beamer on the sideline, and he's just sitting there like, come on, man, come on. And he shakes it. No, come on. Like, no, go get a 15-yard. That play helped decide that game. That was if that would have been a turnover, we get the ball with a chance to take the lead. Instead, they go in, score, and they're up 2 possessions, whatever it was, middle of the fourth quarter, I believe it was.
I believe that's right.
Get a 15-yard penalty. I don't care. Get
Throw
thrown out of the game.
Throw a hat.
Show your tail. Yeah, throw your headset. Pull a spurter. Throw your played cards. But if you look, this is the ref in me. If an official makes a call that they're kind of, it could have went this way, but I called it that way, and I'm not sure. If he does that and you go, come on, really? You're not worried about it.
Yeah.
You don't care. You're like, okay, I might have missed the call a little, but he's cool with it, so let's go.
There's a reason why Coach K doesn't have to yell at referees anymore. Is because they're all terrified he's going to. He now has the chance to look at him like Coach Beamer does and just smirk because they're like, crap. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to wake up with a dead horse's head in my bed tonight.
Right. But you got to earn that a little bit. And look, I love his positive attitude. I agree with you. I love that. But you do got to get mad, man. Sometimes you got to get thrown out of a game. Like, you know, I used to coach basketball. Sometimes you got to get teed up. Yeah. Show your team you care.
You got to show it. It's like Bobby Cox with the Braves. Got thrown out the most. But if you ask him, were you mad at this? Most times than not, he goes, I'm just trying to fire up my team.
Right.
Ray Tanner, he said that all the time. He goes, I knew there were times that I had to go out there and get kicked out of the game to fire my team up. Like that is literally, that's part of coaching too. Well, last night, Cam Smith, your great DB. Yeah. When you do the tango with the receiver, that is a flag. I'm sorry.
What makes me laugh too?
When when they're just so confused. I didn't do nothing. I'm like, you gave him a hug.
What is the flag? I'm like, my man, you ripped his jersey off.
Who was it last year that fumbled it going into the end zone and then had looked up at the scoreboard like, what?
That was I can't remember.
What is it? But yeah, it was that situation. I'm like, you did drop it on the 3-yard line. It really was not that close.
Yeah.
The fact that you're surprised is more surprising than the fact that they turned. But so Cam grabs him by the waist, pass interference.
Yeah.
I would argue whether it was catchable, but the grab, not so much.
Yeah.
Then 3 plays later, Dial. He has the pass interference.
That's right, yeah.
You just let them go straight down the field. We're comfortable, but not, I'm never comfortable as a Carolina fan.
I was about to say, I've been to way too many games. So
I have left a Tennessee game up 2 touchdowns with 30 seconds to play and we lost. I'm never comfortable as a Carolina fan.
Ever.
So then I think it was Dial got the pass interference. I almost said they cut to Spurrier. They cut to Beamer on the sideline, and he's sitting there with his arms crossed, kind of looking up like, come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, and you could tell he was getting
frustrated. Across that damn field and grab Bobby Knight them, grab them by the freaking face mask, rip them both off to the sideline and say, look, this is not, this is the games you get better.
Yeah.
Or at least it's not the games that you make those penalties.
Right.
If you're playing Georgia, somebody beats you and it's a home run, take them to the ground.
Yeah.
I would rather a pass interference instead of a home run. But when you're up 22-0, no offense on South Carolina State, and a guy makes a little shift move on you and kind of wasn't even really past him. He was a step. He was in front of you.
Yeah.
And you grab on. No, that's when you or Clayton White.
Yeah.
Or
well, you saw Buddy Pugh when they called that block that blindside block. He was 16 yards out on the field. He was hot.
Yeah, but that's my only thing with Shane. And Coach
and
Beamer, sorry, hold on. I want to go back to. I wish we would get professional again with coaches' names. I realize Coach Beamer's been around for a while, and I also realize his dad's quote unquote Coach Beamer.
Yeah,
Shane Beamer is Coach Beamer.
Yes,
people kind of called him Muschamp and stuff, but it was Coach. These guys deserve respect. Call them by their title, Coach Beamer. He's not Shane Beamer. It drives me damn crazy. Like, I get it. He's like 17 years old. He's older than me, so I'll actually take it. But he's Coach Beamer. People call him.
And I think that's part of it too. I wonder if it's because it's only his second year as a head coach and he's a young guy. If he's still learning how to get pissed off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And that's what I said. He's got a couple decisions depending on how the rest of the season goes. He's got a couple of decisions that's going to determine early on how his career as a coach goes. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think the one he's obviously knows how to recruit. We see the class that they're bringing in.
Yeah,
he knows how to get the fans involved. He knows how to get the players to want to play for him. Like, none of that is in question. But I think the question for him right now is going to be when the lights are on, when the game's on, he's going to have to find a time, or he's going to have to find when he can. You got to be tough dad sometimes.
Yeah, agreed.
And you can be everybody's best friend. Again, I'm not knocking the man. Love the guy as our coach. Want nobody else but him right now. He's the fun-loving dad that everybody wants to be around constantly, 100% of the time. But if you don't learn how to chew a little ass, eventually people are going to start slipping.
Agreed. And I mean, my favorite coach
again, if that's not him, if he wants to hire somebody to be grumpy dad, good cop, bad cop. If you want,
that's it. Put somebody on your staff whose job it is to yell at people.
I'll take it. I'm a redneck from Greenville. My last name's Fowler. Everybody knows the Fowlers don't take crap. I will chew somebody's butt out if they chew gum the wrong way. If you want to hire somebody, I'll tell you what, pay me $200,000.
You're there.
I'll be the official. I don't want to say official butt chewer because people got some freaky stuff. People do freaky stuff these days. So let's come up with a cooler name.
Better title.
We'll work on it. We'll
workshop it.
Yeah. We'll get some people in, storyboard it, figure out what name, anything but butt chewer, probably official. Nothing.
Yeah.
But I'll do that. I'll take one for the team. I'll drive up and down 26 to go to games. And when you need somebody to yank a face mask, I'll be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. And it takes that because, like I said, my favorite coaches to play for were ones that cared and got pissed if we were losing and yelled at us in the locker room. Like, I respond better to that than I do you like telling me it's all going to be okay. I'm like, I don't. That's not how I play. I don't want that. Like,
I have a joke that's a joke, but it's really not a joke either. It's slightly a joke. My dad was my baseball coach all through school until I got to high school. And I tell people, I'm like, I have every single one of my little league jerseys still. I don't have a single jersey that the chest of it isn't all like stretched and ripped and tangled up, because every single other inning, if I didn't do something that and you got to know too, my dad was the kind that you have those dads that show favoritism to their kids for certain. Oh, this is my son, so he's going to play. And, oh, he never does anything wrong. My dad was the opposite. It was this is my son, so I have to ride him harder to prove I'm not showing favoritism.
Yeah.
So I tell people, I'm like, I don't have a shirt that's not all yanked up and ripped and stretched in that area, because I'd come off the field and he'd grab me by my shirt and turn me around and chew my butt out. But when I made a good play, when I had a big hit, he was the very first one there every single time.
Yeah.
My very last at bat in high school was against or at home during regular season before we went to postseason, whatever. Nobody cares. But my very last at bat at home in high school, we were playing our art travels. I had the walk off in the bottom of the seventh because that's all you play in high school. It's just 7 instead of 9. I had the walk. It was bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. I walked it off.
Nice.
I rounded first, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? Do I turn around? Do I stop running? Do I keep running? Do I go for an inside the park home run? I don't know. What do you do in these situations?
Yeah.
So I rounded second, turn around, and like the whole team's coming out there. Yeah. So then I'm like, crap, I don't want to be the bottom of a dog pile. I'm too small for this.
Yeah.
So I peel off, and we're in left field. Now, mind you, I have this entire at bat on video.
Yeah.
My dad was videoing it. I made the hit. It goes over the center fielder's head, hits the ground. Everybody goes crazy. He turned the camera off, put it down, went around the dugout, got onto the field, and was in left center field with a bunch of high school kids that were in the best shape of their life and had the ball I hit in his hand.
That's awesome.
In the like us jumping around. And I remember like, we're all, oh yeah. And I turn around and my dad's standing. I'm like, what are you doing?
How did you get here? Where did you come from?
I mean, he was in his 40s. I'm like, you're a grown man. What are you doing?
Exactly.
But we're just jumping up and down. I mean, he's in the middle of it. This is my senior year in high school. Like, you're on the field with me. What's going on? But that's how it was. Earlier in the game, I'm sure I probably struck out or something. And going back to the, the dugout, he's there. Mm-hmm. Oh, you should have chased that one outside. Like that's how he is. But again, I think that's the kind that Shane Beamer can be. He may, again, my dad's probably a little harder than I think Beamer could probably get. Coach Beamer.
Yeah.
Dang, even I'm bad at it. But I can see him being the kind, I'm going to chew your butt when your butt needs to be chewed. But when it's time to party, we're going to throw it down.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my only thing with Coach Beamer is I need him to get mad.
Agreed. I agree with that.
But not fake mad. He doesn't need to go out there and pretend to be mad.
Yeah.
But he's got to find his voice. Again, certain pass interference calls are close plays. He's got to be out there in the umpire's ear, or he's got to be in the face mask. One of my favorite pictures, 2 favorite pictures of Lou Holtz is there's one with Troy Williamson where, and actually now that I'm getting the mental picture, I just chuckle. Yeah. I mean, Lou Holtz is, 5'0" to Troy Williamson, and he's holding his jersey. And Troy Williamson's looking down at him, sticking his tongue out at him.
Yeah.
That's probably my all-time favorite, probably one of the most iconic ones. But then the second is, I don't know who it is, but again, 5'0" Lou Holtz has a Carolina guy by the face mask, and his face mask is eye to eye with him.
I know the exact picture you're talking about, and I don't know who it is either, but I know the exact photo you're talking about.
And that's where I see Coach Beamer.
Yeah.
I see him as the guy that, yes, when I need to get on it, I'm going to have to get on it. But I see him as the, let's sit here and embrace, you stick your tongue out at me, and let's have fun doing it.
Yeah. I agree.
I can't stop smiling now thinking about the Troy Williamson picture with the tongue out. That's just one of my all-time favorite Carolina pictures. Love it.
Yeah. But no, and I think he'll get there. Like I said, I think he's young, second year. I think he's trying to get out of his dad's, not necessarily shadow a little bit, but it's always, he's a Beamer. And that's got to be tough too, right?
Oh yeah.
To try to live up to that reputation. I mean, I feel like he's trying to do it on his own, and I hope he's doing a good job. But you're right, he needs to find his voice and figure out, who he's going to be and how he's going to be. And it's like, we went to that game Saturday, and, I'm sitting up there, and all these people are sitting around me, and they're screaming about the play calling and the coaching. And I want to turn around and be like, how much money do you get paid to coach football?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
so that's like, I do insurance sales, and we'll always get people, well, yeah, I want to talk to my son about this. And one of the responses I'll give is, oh, okay, so your son's a licensed insurance agent.
Yeah.
Well, no, he just, okay. So he deals with insurance at his company then.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm like, then why do you need to talk to him? I mean, I get it if you just kind of want somebody to reassure you or whatever, but I've gone to, I've had to get licensed to do this. I'm not saying I'm a doctor. I'm not doing brain surgery out here, but I've had to get licensed multiple years, continue my education, continue getting my license renewed across multiple states. Like, I am a professional at this.
Yeah, and it's like you're sitting up here drinking, and you just scream. I mean, it's real easy to sit up in the stands, see the whole thing, and after it's over, say you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's very easy. I'm like, that's why they don't pay you to do that.
Well, and again, a lot of these same exact play calls in 2011, 2012 with, and I'm not even saying Marcus Lattimore over Marshawn Lloyd, and I'm not even really saying offensive line over what we have now, just those guys executed.
Yeah.
But everybody in the world against Georgia knew that ball was going to Marcus Lattimore.
Yeah.
And that was the other funny thing. As bad as we felt against Georgia, and take this into consideration, then we'll get a quick, what do you see for the future of the season and everything.
Okay.
But as bad as we all felt against Georgia, we had 21 missed tackles. I mean, it felt like every single play, we missed like 17 tackles on that play. Like, we brought guys in from off the sidelines and they missed the tackles too. Like, every play.
Yeah.
We had 21 missed tackles.
Yeah. Marcus
Lattimore's freshman year, where he carried it, 39 times, and I think went for over 200 something yards. He had 29 missed tackles or broke tackles as a running back. Yeah. He had 29 by himself in one game against Georgia. And we felt like we did 2 weeks ago with 21 as a team against the entire Georgia offense the whole game. I'm like, oh, so that's what y'all felt like that game.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't feel bad. They didn't feel bad about what they did. They didn't feel bad what they did to us. But but like I said, that Georgia game, man. Look, did I want to win it? Yeah. Did I think we were going to win it? No.
Did I think it was going to go the way that it did? Hell no.
No, I didn't either. But the Arkansas game, I feel like was a good sort of measuring stick is where we were, and we were in that game in the second half. And as far as the future, look, next week's going to be a big one, but we've been cursed against Kentucky, in Kentucky especially.
Hey, I hate to say it, but they've kind of owned us lately.
So that's going to be a tough one. But then the rest of our schedule, it's not.
So let's just go bold. 6-6, bare even. We're 3-2 now.
Right.
All we've got to do the next 7 games is win 3 more to get bowl eligible.
Yeah.
Do we do it? How easily?
I think we do it
or not.
I think we do it, and I think we do it fairly easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can win 4 of the next 7.
That's 7-5. Yeah.
7-5. I think 7-5, go to a bowl in the season 8-5. I think that would be a good year. That's one better than we did last year. I think that would be. I think that's achievable.
I'm still not off the bandwagon of us being competitive. I think our defense is, again, just depth-wise, which you get some of these freshmen and guys, they're getting a lot of playing time and a lot of experience that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So I think as the year goes, they're probably going to get a little bit better, just being more comfortable. Spencer's not going to keep missing those balls.
No.
And I think we're only I think our running game is really starting to come in together. And I also think our offensive line is starting to gel. Last year we saw the first few games, they struggled, then they gelled in the last half. You didn't see the issues. I think they're connecting a little quicker this year.
Yeah.
I have my theory on that, but I'm not going to say that over the air because people will be like, oh, you hate players. I don't. There's just certain lineups that I think work a little bit better, and my personal opinion might differ from coaches. So anyway, and I'll Gamecock Twitter because I got roasted for that one last year. But anyway, so I think we're only going to get better as the season goes. I think we're going to, as much as it kind of inconvenienced the game last night, it was great. We were able to get 50 points. Again, was it perfect? No, blah, 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 whatever. It's going to give us an advantage for Kentucky.
Yeah.
We've got 2 extra days to plan, 2 extra days to get healthy, all of that. We get to watch them live. We get to see all of that. So I think that benefits us in that game.
Agreed.
I think Kentucky's really good. I just physically find it hard, and I'm sure a lot of people did too in the early 2010s with us. I just find it so hard to believe Kentucky football is a top 10 team.
Oh, yeah, 100% agree with that.
And again, nothing against them. I would love for Kentucky to be great because it's just fun to watch somebody different be really good. I don't want them to be great next Saturday, but it would be fun to see some different people do it, preferably people that's not in our division as well.
Yes, yes.
I think we'll see a lot, though, this coming next week as far as where the rest of our season is going to go, because we play them and then we get a bye.
Yeah.
Bye? Yeah. Then we get the bye week. So I think we're setting up great for the second half of the season. If we can pull this one off next Saturday, I'm still saying 8, if not 9 wins. People are going to start getting healthy again with these 2 extra days this week, whatever happens next week. And then we're going to have the bye week. So people are going to start getting healthier and healthier for the second half to really put together a run. Again, Spencer Rattler's not going to miss those throws the whole season. No. We're going to start to get some turnovers. I mean, the law of averages say eventually the ball's going to bounce our way. Hopefully we just didn't get them all last night. And again, same thing with Spencer. He's not going to miss them all. They're going to finally start to hit. When he gets it to click, the offense is going to take off because I think our offense has figured out running plays that we can do and execute. So if we can start getting some passes to start spreading those down the field, the offense is, again, you just have to start getting better when you can do that. I'm with you. I would still be a little upset if we go 7-5. I'm going to stick with 8-4. I guess my top end's probably around 9-3 at best at this point. Just we play a lot of really good teams the rest of the year, so that's saying if we may have a bad game or two, things like that happen. But I'm still pretty optimistic on where things are going. I don't see anything that I completely hate and think that, we suck, we're going to lose every game for the rest of history. We should cancel the football program.
Neither do I, which is why I'm staying off Gamecock Twitter for a day or two.
I understand that one. Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on. Tell Emma Flynn and Margo that I appreciate them coming on as well. They can have their friends check it out.
I will.
Give them all the sweets and
Emma
candy.
Flynn. I'll have Emma Flynn share it with all her cheer friends, so you can.
There we go. Tell them to only listen to the first half because my language may have decreased the second half.
Yeah, I will. I'll make sure to tell them.
Earmuffs.
Yeah, that's
all
right,
dude. I appreciate you jumping on. I'm gonna go grab some supper.
Yeah, same here
because I'm hungry.
Yeah, me too.
People listening don't give a crap. They're like, shut up, dude. Shut up and wrap your podcast up so I can go listen to a better episode from somebody else.
All right, buddy.
All right, man. Appreciate it, man.
Hey,
We're going to wrap it up with the usual demo. Go Gamecocks.
Love it.
See ya.
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 Love it.